Alright, here we go. Let's see. So I'm going to be testing out the live stream today for the next hour or so. This is why nothing was planned, nothing was promoted or anything, or made a big fuss out. I really just wanted to test out the equipment. Let's see if I can get this right. Get everything just right. I think the longest part was setting up the webcam. What I'm going to be doing today, not that guy, this guy, I'm going to be painting up, well, continuing painting up some Freeguild Cavaliers that I converted up from the Italian Rough Riders, which is this box. So the whole idea was to change these up to Freeguild Cavaliers, and I think I did a decent job. A few Freeguild bits here. Swapped the heads out, added the shield, removed any 40k bits on it. So I think they're not too bad. I think they turned out okay. So what I actually, let me turn the heat down. What I was working on last night was the brown parts here for like the leather. So I got all them finished on all of them. I left one guy to the side because that's the one I'm recording for the tutorial. But this guy I can work away on. So one of the first things I got to do today is I got to put the second coat of, what was the coat I put on it? Scrag brown on the leather. There's not a lot of it. It's just a lot of small pieces have it. So yeah, I'm gonna get kickstart with that tonight or today, this morning. I'll find my scrag brown. There we go. Get some fresh scrag brown on the painting palette. So yeah, the whole point of this was really just to test everything, see how it goes. Setting up the camera was the hardest, because I couldn't get the focus to work properly. It was pretty frustrating. I really thought that I might have been able to use my camera, that one back there, but I couldn't. It wouldn't connect properly, so I had to take out the old Logitech webcam and use the face cam from the Mac. So yeah, I have to keep one eye on this to make sure everything's, yeah, the focus is really good. I can fix that if I need to go closer, but for this distance, yeah, it works really well. So I'm still, the only thing that's finished on the model is the horse. I recorded the horse colors tutorial first, and like see I have brown and then I have this kind of light tan color as well. I always want to do this color, or this pinto kind of color on the horse, which is like a light brown and like dark spots on it. But I don't think there was enough on the horse to really get it to a full effect. I could have got bits around here, and that would have been it. But I wanted to do a bit on a bit of a bigger free space of a horse, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so I want to get these second layer of scrag brown down to get a solid color down. This is actually the longest part of doing these last night. This is what took up most of the night, because a lot of nearly everything here had to be like 2 coats. I had to get like 2 coats on the blue, 2 coats on, what was that dark color I went with? Dark Reaper. So while I was waiting for things to dry, and then I was like half watching the darts on the computer. So it was all good, because, and I don't mind getting a little bit messy here, because the last coat on the brown was just a plain Doombull brown. So any mistakes I make on that, I can easily tidy it up later on. But yeah, I had a blast making these models. Of course, they're going to be in my new Freeguild army, which is, I have the starter box that's all painted up, and the new starter box that came out, and They're all built. I just got to get around to painting them, which I have on the list of projects to do. Get these small details of these little pouches. I could leave all these pouches on. These all fitted in pretty perfectly. There wasn't too much to take off. Obviously I had to take off all the Imperial Guard pieces with the knife. I don't want to get too much brown parts on the blue because it's going to be a little bit harder to cover, so I want to be pretty careful going across here. I'm just hoping that the audio is okay. Hopefully I'm not blasting you out. Maybe I can turn this down a bit because I'm so close to the microphone. I think that might be a little bit better. I can check it later on. Yeah, but live streaming is definitely going to be happening. If this goes successfully and I check back on it and there's no real audio mess ups and the camera and everything looks good, this is something that I've been really wanting to do for a while. Get all these little brown details in around these metal parts. Yeah, once I got the horse finished and the blue base coat down, the rest of it is just a lot of small details to fill in, really. You know, there's a couple of different colors you can use on this. A lot of different details will be a lot of different colors. So I'll be very careful going along here. Don't want to mess up that lovely Calgar blue. That took me too long last night. And I would like to get some music playing on this in the background, so I have to look up about getting music on as well. I know Twitch you can do it, but even just some background music, you know, it's a bit dull without it. Although I'll keep chatting away. Get this under piece here, just to fill it out a little bit more. Plus I can get thumbnails and everything put up properly. And the other parts were the letter on her back. And this is, she has the head from the Sisters of Battle. I actually don't know what they're called anymore, so I still call them Sisters of Battle. Although the base coat on this is pretty solid. I can go over all this pretty lightly. And plus when I get a nice shade on this, it'll fill in a lot of details as well. Which I will be using a lighter shade. I'm not going to go with Agrex. I've been watching a video where a guy used, it's the Byron from Opius Art, he used from sepia with a little bit of Nuln Oil and lemon medium. So yeah, these second layers are going to be a lot quicker than I thought they were going to be. I'm just hoping that the shade will fill it in a bit better. I'm just going to check that I miss anywhere and get a few little bits in here. I think that might be okay. A bit of detail under here. Yes, I think she's good to go. Let me see. I can move this guy over here. Move that. Scooch out to the back and let's get the lighter brown. Or the tan color, although a lot of the base color on this looks pretty solid as well. Just get a little bit of water. Start filling in here. Yeah, so I wanted to go, I would have maybe liked to have done like a darker leather, but I didn't want to go too dark on it because I had like, I think 3 of the horses are dark brown. So I didn't want to go everything too dark because she has like Dark Reaper on her, on the rider's clothes. So I'm hoping to brighten a few bits up later on as well. You know, the likes of, I'll be careful here so I don't get any on the tail because the tails are finished as well. Let me click that off. So yeah, these are in the scheme of custom colors that I made up for, or not, well, not custom colors, but a custom army. Had this idea of like making up my own city and stuff like that, called Fairfari, and it's a coastal city in the realm of Beast that has some Stormcast there, but only a little. I think it's called a Stormkeep. It's pretty small. There's not too much there. And there's a tiny little section on the outskirts of the town, between the town's kind of barrier, and it's like a slum section. That's where these guys are going to be based on. And the colors of the city is blue and white, so that's why I like to have the light blue on this. I want to add a little bit of white into it as well. And actually, I only thought of that. I only thought of like last night. I was like, where am I going to add the white into this to get the proper colors in? So I think I'm going to have to do the head part white, which I really hadn't thought about doing. I think on the box it's like a really darker color, but I didn't want to go darker. Get these straps done here as well. Just a lot of details now left on it, but it's the base and stage where everything kind of looks awkward and out of place until it's all tidied up, and then you throw a couple of shades in there. I'm trying to see, is there any other brown parts that I missed? The underbelly here, maybe just a little bit on that. I think that one's okay. And then the rider, I always kind of forget to go back to the rider. Try and get a nice position. I'm in an awkward position because this is like an old kitchen table. It's like a little bit higher than a normal table, and the chair isn't quite high enough, so I'm kind of like this a little bit. So I need to kind of, and I'm not going to cut the legs off this table. It's like way too big, and I love this table. I don't want to mess it. Knowing me, if I cut off like a small bit off each leg, the whole thing will start being like really wobbly or something like that. So what I'm going to do is try and get a newer chair. This is just an old gaming chair that I had. This one actually has a grenade left on it. I wonder if you can see in there just a little bit that I missed. So if anyone asks, it's a magic grenade from one of the wizards. Actually, I missed the belt along here as well. I'm going to try and get a nice steady hand into here. Get that. I might do this bit, so that's a bit of the belt. This side is okay, I think. I'll give that grenade a different color later on. Actually, now that I'm on like the second layer, this brown's going through way quicker than it did last night. Although I had one eye on the darts last night on the telly. It's gonna be a lot of fun trying to pick out these little small metal bits later on as well. A little bit in there, don't go over the blue. Yeah, and I need to do these silver after, and I'm kind of getting a little bit fed up by using the old reliable lead belcher and Mullen oil or Agrax Earthshade. So I might start looking up different ways of doing silver. Actually, what I could do, I could start putting bits of bronze on this instead. I'm not going to put any gold because it's from like the slum section of the city, where like their equipment is fine, it's good, but they're not going to have like gold equipment or gold parts on them, and if they do, it's only like the tiniest piece. Get these done. So maybe like a bronze, or like maybe like an old tin bits color. I start doing parts of that on it. That might be pretty good. And I'm actually really happy how some of the brown turned out. You might see like a little bit of a dimple here. There's like the Imperial Guard insignia was there, and I tried to fill it over with green stuff, but I used the liquid green stuff, and I had never used it before. So I kind of just blobbed it on and tried to file it back or sand it down a little bit after. But you can kind of see a little bit of it maybe. I know the light's kind of strong there, so that's the best I could do with that. But most of the models have that part covered up as well. Try and get a steady hand in this part. Yeah, and some of the leather on the box I was looking at for the Attilian Rough Riders was like kind of like a dark brown reddish leather, and it looked really nice. So I might do that for some of it. Actually, I forgot to do the leather on the tail here, so I'm trying not to mess up this tail. I really don't want to try and go over the details on this again, because then I'll probably have to clean up the leather after it as well. Get a little bit on each side. Get the top parts here as well. That was 3 odds, one in here. Really tiny piece. Yeah, I think that's okay. So there is a couple of parts on her strap around her chest. I need to fill out a bit better. Ooh, I like these stands, but they're not the strongest to hold it really tight in place. Especially for these oval bases, you kind of, the second you start pushing here, they start sliding out too much. I want to get in there to fill that bit. It's probably not meant to be leather, but I'm really not going to go massive into tiny details. As long as it looks good, it looks good. I think that's okay. Gotta turn the heater back down a bit. It's too warm now. I have the heater under the desk. So the only problem out here in the new shed is like when it's cold, it's cold. It's insulated, but it's like freezing out now. You turn the heater on, it's fine, but your legs will be freezing, so I stuck it under the desk. And like the part of the table here, you can feel it gets a little bit warm. But after about 20 minutes, you're roasting. And I am sitting here in the jumper, and you can really feel it. This bit in here that I missed out. And this little strip in here, and you see these bits, this kind of front part, that is a Hobgrot's chest piece. And it's kind of like, I had all the parts put on, I was looking at around in my bits box and see what could I add on. What could I, is there any other little extra bits? Because I had like the big symbol there as well for like the Imperial stuff. And I had to take it off, and then it was just plain. I was thinking, oh, I gotta put something on that. Gotta see what we can get. And in the unlikeliest places. Luckily, I had a lot of Hograts. I got like the Hograts from the starter set, like a year or two back or whatever. And then I bought some off eBay. And then I have like even more Hograts because I got them from the magazine, Stormbringer. I'm not sure if I got this part, but I'm going back over it again. No, I didn't. You can see parts where it needs to be filled in properly. Let me get this a little bit brighter there. Let me get in on here where it's a little bit too dark. Oh no. Have to fix that later. Let me get this belly strap as well. It's kind of patchy here. So tidy that up. Right. Actually, that is the last one I had there for this part. And I can't really do the other one because I need to set up the other camera because I only have like one spot here, like right in front of me. Actually, you can see the webcam here. Yeah, it's right here. So that's where my camera for recording goes. So I couldn't really squeeze the two of them in without everything being in the way, and it was too cramped. But the good thing about painting a unit like this, I can kind of get ahead and I can take notes of what I'm working on and what parts to do next and everything. So let's scooch these back in order. And let me think. I think maybe I might do the white part of the head first. Because if I get a base cut on that, and then start the metal parts around it, I think the bronze pieces might look pretty nice on this part. The eye part. I think they all have that as well. And then I can kind of focus on the different letters like here. And this kind of satchel on the back. The parts under here, they can all go the same type of letter. That darkish red. I don't want to say corn red. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Not that red, that's too bright. This kind of red. You see that with the glare. See, there's kind of like the dark red here, and it looks really nice. Maybe Doombull was the proper color for that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up a little bit. But yeah, let me see. What did I use for the white? Check my big painting notebook. What I do is I really try to keep track of what goes where, what paint. So I had Halia, which was her, and that's what the whole army is based on. So I converted her up from the Imperial Guard guy on the mechanical horse. So everything is kind of being based on her. And there's a lot more white in her because I went with the white horse, which she has the white inside of her robe and everything. And she has a lot of silver. There's a little bit of gold there, and a lot of silver because she's the leader. She's bound to have a lot more silver than the rest of them. But where did I have it? The robes. Mix of sand, no. Rapebone seems to be the one that I went with. And I know that was shaded with apothecary white because that's what I usually go for. So I think Rapebone is the one to go for. Let me see if I have a handy over here. I'm just painting. I have like two areas for paints, like these ones and like a stand. I think Rapebone's there. Actually, what's on this pipe? Old one, white scar, screaming skull. Celestial grey. Let me have a look here. Pallid witch flesh. Black heart flesh. Black heart flesh. Shopty bone. Pallid witch flesh. Administratum grey. Where the fuck is my red bone gone? That's not the last one I used. Look at the state of this one. Look how rough that's after getting to. Oh my god. Let me see. There is another pot of red bone here. So I just used it. I don't think it's in there. Has to be over this side then. Let me see any white colours I have here. What's this one? Blackheart flesh. Flayed one flesh. Corax white. I haven't got any over here, do I? Nope. What's this one? Finishing grey. White scar, celestial grey. Why can't I find my red one? Ah, there it is. It's at the very front. Give it a good shake. Now what I need to do, I have to keep all these in order because like, I can go away to work for like 3 days and I come back and I will completely forget what I was working on or where I left off. I'm gonna find my right pen. So I do need to mark off. Right, I've recorded the Calgar Blue, I've recorded the Dark Reaper. The leather scrag brown, I'm not going to mark that because I have to record the second layer of that. So now this is going to be part 29. And what was it? Wraithbone. Just going to put horse's head. Swap you back over. Swap you back over there. Get this Wraithbone. Yeah, look at this one. Jesus. It's not even open, but look at the state of it. Even the whole fucking lid comes out, look. Oh! Look at that little sweet nugget. Sweet Jesus. I do have a vortex mixer. Like one of these painting things, or mixing things. And it's absolutely fantastic. And I had it for like a week and I broke it. So, I plugged in the wrong plug to it and the voltage is like way too high. And it just literally went, it shook for like 3 seconds and then it just shut off. I get a little burnt smell in it. So let me find a spot on this now to stick this Wraithbone glue here. A little bit of water. Leave that there. What I can do is like that and that way. Leave the water there. And let's start with you then. So it's pretty straightforward. I don't think there's any parts I need to be careful with apart from the ears and around the mouth. There's a few kind of open areas that I can work with. Ooh, that's a bit much. Just turn that down a bit. And I can kind of go mad with it here. This is like the basing phase, the basing part of all the model. It's like the ugly part. And nothing really comes together until you get a couple of layers on and you start getting that shading. And it's going to kind of get a little bit hard here now to pick up the straps later on, but at least it'll be easier to paint over. The Wraithbone. I really don't want to mess up the horse's face, so I'm going to cut a little bit of Wraithbone all over the place here now. So I'm gonna have to make sure to get these lines here as well. I don't want to get any on the face, the horse. I think like the bulk of my time painting is like split between like research on what I'm going to do and how I'm going to paint it, and then it's like when I get all the base cuts down, it's like a lot of time is spent tidying up then, which is fine. So I'm gonna make sure I get all these little crevices and everything. And I really did a bit of a dodgy job trying to spray these guys as well. There's parts that I missed with the base spray. It's like a grey primer from Halford's, and there is parts that are not covered properly. Get this fine line, come on, there you go. And I was almost a little bit nervous about painting these horses as well, because see, sometimes it can be tricky. I don't know why. It's kind of like off-putting when you're trying to paint horses' colours. And I think, well, that was when I was first started painting off. I remember I got the Island of Blood, and that's like the Skaven and the High Elves. And I was like, I paint like the horse's body. And then it was like, yeah, let me just put a shade all over it, and it's all patchy. You alright, Coco? What's up, girl? You hear the doggies? Not too bad, not too shabby. I get this. And I hear you, girl. I'll let you out now 1 minute. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, little princess. Look at that. Who's that? Say hello to everyone. You can hear you barking because you want to go out. Alright, let you out. You want to go, Banjo? Right, come on. No, come here. Coco. Coco. Come here. Coco, come here. Come on. No, in. Come on. In again, come on. In. Coco. Oh, I don't know if you could hear me shouting out there, but she's just running off down the garden. I tried to keep her in like a little area near the shade, but she's after hearing other dogs barking down the street, so she's wanting to go barking out in the garden. So we get a couple of little bits on these lines between the blue and the white. Try and fill it out. Spread this out a bit more, a bit better, fill the gaps. As long as I fill the gaps with this layer, it'll be a lot easier to fill them out then later on. And I think that might be all the head. Everything up there seems to be like a metal or a strap. Let me have a look at the box. And the back of the head. Actually, let's try and find this one. Which one this is? This is, it probably is that one actually. Yeah, I think it is. Maybe up around the ears. I thought that was like part of metal. Or maybe it's the colour of the horse actually. No, it's not, it's the cloth. So I gotta make sure to get these little parts up here as well, which is gonna be fun on the bone. Steady does it, sponge. Steady does it, son. And actually, these ears are like individual pieces as well. So like they're teeny tiny ears, little tiny little bits that you have to clip off and get on. Doesn't look the cleanest yet, but it'll do for the first layer. Yeah. Probably a bit of a shine there off it. It's really hard to get the white to come up on camera. Oh yeah, I can see it now. It's like really in here. I wonder if I missed that part as well. Did I get the part in between the ears? I don't know. I kind of mixed between like leaving it as the head color. Like that's the actual horse's head. Or is it a wrap? I don't know. I'll switch to the next guy and have a look. But yeah, like these are converted up from the Attilian Rough Riders. This guy's severe. There you go, you can see like one of the conversion bits from the old Freeguild parts as well. I'm not sure if you can hear that like sawing or cutting in the background. I have to leave the back door or the shed door open now because the two of them are after running out. And I ain't going chasing them down the garden. It's not a big garden, I'm just not going chasing. Nice and steady in here. Let's see if I can get a bit more of the details under here. Oh, and there goes the door. Let me leave it open. Banjo, Coco, come on. Come on. Come on. Good doggos. Come on. Now they're back in, but then I thought I could hear someone talking in my garden. So I had to like double check for a second. But the two dogs are back in now. Let me see if we get this white part sorted out. I think one of the key parts I had that I kind of came across from painting, starting to paint properly now the last month or two, because you know I'm in this new shade. This whole area, big area, is set up for this, especially this, for hobby and painting and to make a proper go of it. Is you find yourself in doubt a lot about painting, and I kind of got to the phase where, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. Like painting, I paint is okay. I can paint okay. I can paint like stuff that's like box colors and everything, and it turns out okay. But trying to do my own thing, like coming up with colors for this, converting models is something that I was always afraid to kind of do. Or I was afraid to like commit to an idea. Like I'm gonna make these guys into Freeguild Cavaliers, and then I'm like not happy halfway through and I leave it. Or I start working on a conversion without really thinking about it. But once I have like a clear idea in my head, what I want to do, you know, just fucking go for it. And I really like the tan color on these guys as well. I like how the shade filled it out, the Seraphim sepia, like around here. It looks really good. Let's get this part over the nose. I'll be really careful getting these edges. I don't want to ruin the nice tan color I have on Horsey. Yeah, I need to get in there then, underneath the ear. You know, so I'm fairly committed now to doing this. I'm more half-arse paint jobs, starting and stopping projects. I have my list of stuff. I made out my list. Planned ahead. This is just one of the steps, getting this unit finished. Fill this in a bit better. And along here. Bit of blue showing through. And I think that might be okay. Little bit of blue sticking through. So that is number 2 down, which leaves me with 2 more, but I need a little bit more rape on. A little bit more water. Yeah, and I've really gone to like using wet palettes now. I think I'd kind of be lost without it now, because I was using like this one. And I like this one, but it filled out way too quick, and now I've kind of converted it into like my dry brushing palette. So I've like glued some stones and I dry brush over it. So I switched to the wet palette now. Once I got like used to it and getting the right water consistency with it, it's brilliant. It's really good, especially for like models like this where I'm doing like 4 or 5 at a time. Oh yeah, this guy. I don't think I showed this guy. She's a rat catcher. She's a rat on the end of it. Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest parts I added onto it. Actually, I really like this one. That's You alright there, Banjo? Yeah, you choke away there on yourself. But jeez. You alright? Yeah. He's down there choking on something, but he's grand. That's from like an arc piece that I had, and it fitted really well. So like this unit is part of like Halia Dawnblade's group, and like they're big enemies with like Clan Scurvy of the Skaven. So I had to put one kind of rat catcher thing on it to tie it back a little bit more to that. Yeah, see, pops out way too quick on this. Just a little bit of pressure on the front or the back, it pops out of it. I think it's just for the oval ones, really. Try and get this part over the bridge of the nose. I don't want to get it on the horse's kind of snout. Although I probably will get a little bit on it. Then we can start filling out this side. So rape on is pretty good for any white colours. I think there's too much paint on my brush. I need to clean it out a little bit. Rape on is becoming my go-to for white base colours now. I've used it a couple of times. I've used it on Stormcast and they come out okay. Once I get a decent shading to it and not overdo it, it can turn out pretty good. You know, because white can be one of those problem colours. Like yellow, which I actually have on my list to do next to the Imperial Fist Space Marine. And I think for the first time I'm going to be using a contrast paint, like to do the whole model with that. So I'm going to see how I get on with that. Kind of like traditional painting way versus the contrast method. Which contrasts are fantastic, they work really well, I like them. But I don't like the look of them when you put them all over a Space Marine. It's like way too blotchy. But other than that, like the skin one's pretty good. They're actually really good for mixing, like to use as shades as well, which I really liked. Check this. Yeah, I think everything seems to be running smoothly. Everything. I hope the audio's okay because I'm really close to the microphone. Well, the camera. I did turn it down a little bit, so hopefully I'm not like bursting people's eardrums. I'm trying to think, what did I have to do here? Get this part in around the ears. Yeah, and it's kind of awkward to get to these parts on the head, so I'm trying to be really careful not to get it on the ears. And I know once I get the second coat of the white on it, it'll start taking shape a lot better. Let this white dry. Just get these edges a little bit more. Separator edge between the blue and the white. Just fill that out a little bit more. And I think this guy's okay for now. Maybe do along here a little bit better. You know, and one of the things I need to do is speed up my painting a bit more. I think I've kind of done that. Once I get a good run at a model, because like I don't work Mondays and Fridays, so Monday and Fridays are like my hobby days, and then whatever I can get in on the weekend if I can. But like a lot of that could be like preparation for projects and stuff like that, and planning out things, and so I need to kind of up my painting speed a bit, because once I finish on these for today, you know, there's a good chance I'm not going to get back to these till Friday. I can maybe spend like an hour once I come home from work and have dinner, family time and all that stuff. You know, I can get an hour. There's only so much really. By the time you come out here and you settle down and you get settled into your painting chair, and don't do what I do, is like start watching YouTube videos for about half an hour, and then it's like, yeah, let's get to work, let's start then. And before you know it, you have to go in because it's getting late, and you got to do your real job in the morning. So I try to come out really, once I have stuff planned, I think I'm okay. Like I had the paint scheme planned for these, and I had the parts kind of set up where I knew what colors I was going to go with. More specifically, then I knew what paints I was going to go with. Try and get in here. It's going to be fun trying to pick out all these individual straps and everything on this part, but I think a lot of it is just going to be like that bronze color. That'll fill out a lot of the metal. I think it's just the straps then. Need a little bit more attention. And it's always these like in between parts. It's like they'll always catch you out. I have to be careful not to break this banner, because that's only glued onto the hand as well. It's not like one solid piece. Like these parts here, little separator parts between two colors. And I think that might be on him, but it is only the first layer. Once I get like the second or maybe a third layer, if I need to, I can get it on. I'll start filling out a lot better. So that was the fourth one. So I go have a look at the first one that I did. Actually, let me give this brush a good clean as well. And one of the big things I've done now as well, I've started looking after my brushes a lot more. So any kind of new brush I get now, and I don't get like expensive brushes, I don't get. Like the good ones, I just kind of get whatever I need and whatever I built up. Yeah, see, there's a lot of white stuck on that brush. I can clean that out. I've started cleaning them after almost every session. that's not the first guy I did. This is the first one, so you can kind of get a look at him. So yeah, you can see like the brown is a lot more stronger on it. It's more filled out. It's not as patchy. The second layer did the job for that. And you can see the white is still really thin, but that's expected. That's fine. That's actually what I was wanting it to look like. Once I get like the second coat onto that, that'll start to become a more solid coat. Which actually, I'm gonna try quickly with this one. That should be all dry by now. Yeah, even like a thin second layer, you can see it's a lot more solid. White color on it. These little parts in here. And then you'll really start to see how the head is meant to look like. We get in around this nose part as well. And a bit on the strap for good luck. Bugger. It's okay. The good thing about paint, probably the only good thing about painting white is if you make a mistake on another part, like paint over some parts, it's probably like the easiest color to paint over. When you're getting to your touch-up part. Yeah, you can see the second layer is really starting to fill it out a lot better now. Whereas a couple of years ago I would have just really kind of blobbed the white on. Just the air part there I'm a little worried about. But other than that, I wonder if I could do the gun casing in white. Would that be too much? Because I was wanting to, like I said earlier, I was wanting to do this like a dark leathery one. But I don't know. White on it? Maybe it might stick out too much. I think it might. Oh, one of the other things I really got to do as well, don't forget to mention it, is when I stuck the shields on, I need to come up with like a symbol for the Fairfari soldiers. Which, I don't know. Well, these are like Hallia's soldiers, so I think it needs to be like something like the Skaven Hunter unit or something like that. Some type of symbol that represents that. So I gotta sketch up something for here. And there's a lot of transfers with that Cities of Sigmar starter box. I could use something from there that's not like one of the big city symbols. I'll have a look through that as well. But yes, coming together pretty well. And then what I gotta do after this is then I gotta set up the other camera and start recording the second layer of brown on the straps on this, and then I gotta start recording the white on the head. This guy, I really like this guy. Like I added these parts on here to fill out the back, and then I added like a crow. I left the sword on because it's cool. Actually, I think I was meant to clip this off and then clip that part off to tidy it up, which I'll probably do as well. I'll probably still do it anyway, even though it's sprayed. I added like the vulture on the shoulder. I think that's a bit from the ogres, as far as I can tell. It's a really cool bit to add onto a shoulder. I think just adds like that little extra bit of depth. Yeah, I think like I'll probably do like these parts white. Any parts of cloth or anything I have around there, they might go white. Or maybe blue to keep in with the horse. So yeah, that's been an hour. So hopefully this test stream has been working fine. I need to go back and check the audio throughout, because I know like after the first 5 minutes or something like that I had to turn down the audio here because it was like really high up in the raid. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I am definitely going to be doing this more often. I need to start a schedule for it and everything like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next stream, which might be Friday, I think. Hopefully. I'll sort out something, yeah. But yeah, thanks for